Zadon Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are of course going to be talking about the latest chapter of Hunter's Guild Red Hood, which of course is Chapter 6. Now, before we actually continue with this, I would like to say that more than likely, the next few chapters for this series will more than likely mean that there is no longer going to be any chance to read some chapters. So you can probably, right now, you can, if you start now, you can read all the way through, and you have about 2 weeks in order to do that, is my best guess. Because usually they'll leave the first 3 chapters available forever, and then the latest 3 chapters will always be available. But soon, chapter 4 is no longer going to be available in about 2 weeks when we are back to the chaos. Which, wait a minute, that said 13 days, didn't it? What are they doing? That's actually something that is a bit interesting. For those of you who didn't know, basically, yeah, it is 13 days. Okay, that's weird. Basically, for those of you who aren't fully aware, so far it's been, every Sunday we get Hunter's Guild Red Hood as well as My Hero Academia, which it's looking like that's going to be the case again. But for some reason, they decided to do it on Monday today. It's like, why? Sunday wasn't anything bad, was it? Like, it's just the 8th of August. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Anyways, like, if it was the 4th, then I could kind of understand. But at the same time, it's like, it's not. It's the 8th. Anyways, like I said, not important. Moving on, we need to talk about the latest chapter. And this chapter was kind of interesting. It was basically all that we knew about up to this point was that there were werewolves in the world. We knew that there were more than likely a few other mythological creatures. Like, we know witches are a thing. But this was a chapter that really got to introduce us to a few other things that would be involved. Starting with the fact that the main characters are riding in a freaking hermit crab cart, which just looks amazing. And we also get to meet 2 new characters, Tilty and Milty, which I love these characters. I cannot wait to see how this continues with them, because I really hope that they are going to be like main characters for the series moving forward, because they're just, I kind of love them. Like, they kind of still, they have that aspect of the character that pretends to hate you and the character that actually gives a shit. Which a few series have been doing that, and I just love that they're kind of doing that with this, because it doesn't make sense for why they would, but at the same time it's just absolutely hilarious to see this happening. But yeah, so we get to meet Tilty and Milty, and yeah. As for the rest of the cast, well, we get to meet quite a few other characters, which, needless to say, is really exciting. Well, mostly monsters and stuff. We get to see a giant carrying a huge tree. It looks like from what it's sounding like, it's actually like a tree giant, but from the explanation, but from the picture, it looked like it was just a giant carrying a huge freaking tree, which is amazing. And then on top of that, later down in the chapter, we get to see some cool crab-like creatures. One that builds itself some armor, and another one that that's basically an upside-down skull that is really smart and can actually control like cannons and stuff. Which, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And it's also rather interesting to note that even though there are like monsters all around them, the cast isn't a group of people that will just run out and go fight something because they see it. And it shows that this world has a lot of monsters that are just like, you kind of want to avoid, possibly. Or the other option is that you just want to live and let live. Because a lot of these monsters really don't care that much. And while some of them, sure, would actually want to take down humans and stuff like that, it's not necessarily 100% true. And it's rather interesting getting to see that. But on top of that, it's also insane to see that these two characters, the two new characters that we get to see, they're flunkies for the Hunters Guild. And we get to see how badass these guys are. Milty frickin' fires a shot at the frickin' at one of the at the crab that's inside the tank of the big crab. Fires at it to make sure that it ricochets to get it to come out so that Tilty can kill it. Which, what? And then we get to see Tilty kicking ass. Because, honestly, this thing is wasted by these two. And yet, they're failures. They failed to get into the Hunters Guild. And just thinking about that, it's just like, what? Like, how is that possible? Like, these two are badasses. And Velo is scared to crap because of that. Because if they fail to get in, what does that mean for him? Especially now that he knows that it's actually going to require, there's actually going to be a whole bunch of people who are going to be doing this. And on top of that, sure, he's got Grimm's support, and the fact that that now he knows that his axe is actually really useful against werewolves. Which, what? Why did the mayor have a werewolf axe? And also, that's another thing as well. Basically, that is the thing that Grimm is thinking about. Grimm is is really interesting because she starts thinking a lot of these thoughts that are just like, I think a lot of other people were probably thinking as well, because everything just seems too coincidental. Why exactly is this happening? And that is something that is really important, because if she wasn't the one thinking those thoughts, then I think that a lot of people might have actually assumed or had some idea. I mean, obviously, this is anime, so it doesn't surprise me, but in some places, if somebody else started thinking about this, they might have thought, oh, she's the one who set this up. She's the one who's going to cause a lot of mayhem. She's the bad guy. But the fact that she's the one thinking about this and thinking, this is all a little too coincidental, it's actually showing that she is probably going to be one of the biggest important characters and good characters of the series moving forward. And more than likely will never betray Velo, which, thank goodness for that. But it's a bit insane, to say the least. And getting to see how Velo's reaction as well to knowing that these two people were the flunkies who failed their test, that is insane to him. Now, honestly, I don't think that Velo is going to have much of an issue. The fact is that he basically took down 2 werewolves by himself. Yeah, sure, Grimm helped, but yeah, Velo was the one who cut the werewolf open, and sure, Grimm put the bomb in there, but that's about all she did. If it wasn't for him, she probably never would have gotten out, and probably would have, or could have possibly died. And then when they go off to take on the other 2, sure, she knocks one of them unconscious, kind of defeats one of them, but it's Velo who creates the plan to actually take down the other one. To actually make sure that this last one is fully defeated. And sure, she freaks out when she sees these new people and runs to try and take them down, even though she knows that she doesn't have enough time to actually do so. But she still tries to do something. She still tries to protect the hamlet as much as she can. But that's the facts. That Velo did most of the work. So I think he's actually going to be pretty well off. Especially if he's allowed to keep the axe with him, even though it's technically something that's supposed to be able to really take down a lot of werewolves. We'll just have to wait and see. More than likely, that is what the next arc is going to be, which is kind of interesting that we're already starting to think about the arcs. I mean, sure, early arcs, especially early in the in these series, arcs don't really have much meaning. Basically, everything needs to get set up. They need to get the ball rolling. They need to get things started up. They can't really afford to, well, take time to set things up. They need to get going. They need to get this stuff done. So these the first 5 chapters, I would say, are the first arc. Basically trying to get Velo to save the hamlet. Then the next few chapters are going to be about him trying to get through the camp, which might be a bit longer, might be a full arc. I mean, obviously, this series has a bit longer chapters than a lot of other series, so I don't think that it's necessarily going to be an issue as to how long it is. But at the same time, it's like, this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And, yeah. We'll have to wait and see exactly how they're going to handle this whole situation. But, honestly, I don't think Velo is going to have a really hard time at the camp. I mean, sure, he's going to be having to deal with the other members, and he's barely dealt with a werewolf, but he's killed 2. Basically. So I think, yeah, we'll see how things turn out, but honestly, I'm just so excited. And honestly, expect me and Joker to actually be talking about this series moving forward, because he's reading it as I'm reading it. So hopefully once we can actually manage to get a nerd chat set up, we'll actually be doing some more videos about these series, because honestly, it's gonna be a lot of fun to just go crazy talking about this amazing series and just seeing where it goes forward. I, for one, am so excited to see how this series goes, and honestly, I think that a lot of other fans are also going to be really excited to see how this series goes, and it's one of the big reasons why I've been specifically making as many videos as I have, because the fact is that not very many people are talking about this series, sadly. Basically, the only person that is big that has even mentioned it is that of frickin' Mother's Basement, who briefly mentions it offhand as he's talking about manga, just in general. He's not making a full video about it, and nobody else has been doing that either. So it remains to be seen how long it's going to take before we actually get to see that whole stuff. But I, for one, like I said, am really excited to see where this series continues. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. Leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you guys do have a theory, make sure to say theory review, someone in your comment. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways that you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and of course our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!